Hey everybody, Dr. Paula Ruffin. It is that time of year when we are moving into the holidays, we are starting to derail our health, and we are looking forward to the new year when we can create resolutions and start to get our health back on track. Most of the time, these resolutions will come with cleanses. People will say, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want through the holidays because I'm gonna do a cleanse come January 1st. Well, I wanna warn you, there are some cleanses that are healthy and there are some cleanses that are not so healthy. So this is really to enlighten you about what you should be looking for in a cleanse and what you should be looking for just for your own health in your own life. So the first cleanse is just eliminating things from your body. So when we think of cleanse, we think of, I'm gonna do this program. But listen, you can't outrun a poor diet. You can't out-cleanse a poor diet. So I want you to start with sugar. Sugar is the biggest thing that you can start to cleanse from your life. So look at all the different ways. Now the obvious ones are, donuts, cookies, desserts, cake, ice cream, all of those, the actual sugar things, pop, cereals, anything that tastes sweet is typically, that's sugar. However, there's some deceptive things out there. Sugar is hidden in 80% of our processed foods. So that would be the next layer. How much are you eating from a box? Crackers, chips, other types of refined carbohydrates. If it has a label on it, it probably has some sugar in it. Now, this also then launches to things like jarred or bottled salad dressings, things that are in a packet, seasoning time. And I was actually at Whole Foods and I was looking for a organic chicken broth that didn't have added sugar in it. They all have added sugar. It's insane. And I'm thinking this is a savory product, but because our American palate is so conditioned to having sugar and sweetness that they added sugar to it. So let's start there. Let's just start with your own life. Eliminate the sugar and just start to scale back, because if you're somebody who craves sugar and craves carbohydrates, this is actually the way to start it. You start eliminating and then your brain will stop the cravings. Usually when I start having people do a sugar elimination, it's within about 3 to 5 days that the cravings start to drastically decrease. The other thing that the sugar does for you though is it kills the good gut bacteria. And if you have an altered gut bacteria or altered terrain and you have bad bugs in there, those love sugar. And so they will send signals to your brain to force you to go eat more sugar and carbohydrates. These are my carboholics, I call them. So eliminating sugar is that first layer. You have to do some work because you can't just go back to how you were eating after a cleanse. Okay, so now you've cleaned up your diet. Now we can look at some cleanses. There are juice cleanses out there. That's probably one of the most common ones. There's the Master Cleanse, which I think is lemon juice, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper, or something like that. What you have to be aware of is that the liver has 2 phases of detoxification. So a cleanse is referring to cleaning out toxicity from the body, and the liver is the second largest organ that does that. The skin is the first. So the liver and then the kidneys. So when we do a cleanse, recognize that what you're telling yourself is you want to clear out toxicity from the body by way of the liver, the skin, the kidneys. And there's the lungs also are in there, and of course the bowels. And so, but we're talking the majority. We want to clean up the liver. Well, what happens in the liver is we're exposed to so many toxins during the day, and the liver has these 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Can't believe some fancy scientist with some complex name didn't apply his name to phase 1 and phase 2, but it's literally phase 1 detoxification, phase 2, that happens in the liver, phase 3 is the kidneys flushing it out. So toxins come in super fast from the environment, and phase 1 is really fast, and it's like, and it's, you're in the mailroom and you're shuttling all the mail out. And then it hits phase 2, and phase 2 is kind of like, the sleepy, lazy teenager in your basement eating Cheetos, playing video games. I'll get to it. And so because of that, there's only so much that can get detoxified. So then phase 2 says, we'll take care of these and we're gonna send this into long-term storage, which is usually in the fat tissue. So phase 1 fast, phase 2 slow, and then what happens is then the more toxins we take in, the more sugars, processed foods, things in our environment, the more it builds up in the system. It gets stored in fat tissue, it goes to our brain, we don't sleep well. And so our goal really is to start to clear these things out. The juice cleanses oftentimes, and some of these other liquid cleanses, oftentimes won't have enough amino acids and nutrients to help speed up that phase 2 of liver detoxification. So what we want to really be able to do is utilize foods and certain nutrients that will help speed up phase 2 of detoxification, so that when it comes in quickly and it gets to phase 2 is just a little faster than phase 1 now, and it can handle everything, plus all the things that are getting pulled from the tissues, the brain, the inflammation, and it can flush it out. And this is oftentimes when I put people on nutritional plans and detoxes, and we do a healthy detox that involves specific foods, nutrients, vegetables, things like sesame oil, ginger, certain spices that will help speed up that phase 2 of liver detoxification. And so when we do that, the cravings start to go away within 3 to 5 days. People start to feel more mental clarity and mental sharpness. The mental fog goes away because we're pulling toxins from the brain. So it's important to understand that if you are watching this video and you are thinking about a cleanse, what does that cleanse look like? How safe is it? Are you doing it only because your neighbor's doing it and they thought it was kind of cool? But I would encourage you to start to look into what is a healthy cleanse. And with our cleanses in our office, we use a combination of medical foods and actual foods. So it's super healthy. You're not starving. You actually feel really good. You can eat as much food as you want as long as it's on the program. And my clients don't starve when they're on a cleanse, and they feel amazing. And they usually can drop 7 to 9 pounds within about 14 days because we're dumping all of that inflammatory fluid. So we're coming into cleanse season. Ask yourself, what does that really mean for me? What are you doing? Is it a safe product? Is it a safe process? Where does it come from? What is the company, and what is that company's intention? If they are putting chemicals, artificial sweeteners, flavors, colors into those products, you can't trust anything that company does. If it's a juice cleanse, you might want to just look at a short term, maybe a 48-hour, 3 days at the longest, because your liver needs to be able to keep up with the process of detoxification. We've got to speed up phase 2, and we need specific nutrients to do that. So we don't want to harm ourselves in the process, and we want to create a more healthy space. The other thing too is if you're doing a liquid cleanse of some sort, or even like if you're doing a water fast or some kind of intermittent fasting, that is also something that your body then needs to get reacclimated to food. So how do we do that? Those are all things that I can help you with. Just go ahead and drop me a message. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment here. If you've ever done a cleanse, how's it worked out for you? And what happened after the fact? Did you gain the weight back? Did you really feel better? Did you maintain your health? Would love to know your actual experience there and which cleanse you did. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Share our page so we can continue to bring the message of health and wellness to the world. Appreciate you so much for being here, and happy cleansing.